and thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is Gabrielle Perry, and I'm a 28-year-old epidemiologist with a specialty in infectious diseases, an alumna of Tulane University School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, a writer, and a lifelong Louisiana resident. But before all of that, I'm a formerly incarcerated woman. I was arrested back in 2014. My crime, as roughly 64% of crimes are, was nonviolent and solely about survival against poverty. Yet one day, in East Baton Rouge Parish Prison stole many years of my life. After my arrest and due to my criminal record, I was homeless. I had to bathe in a bucket in a derelict shotgun house, and I survived solely due to Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. For a while, I could not find a job because of my charges and was a victim of discriminatory housing and employment practices and sexual harassment. I was ostracized and mocked by my peers and schoolmates in public and on social media and treated as if I was subhuman. Throughout my 20s, I never dated, I never traveled, I never had a boyfriend. I lived purely in survival mode. I never experienced the normal life of a young 20-something. I was not allowed to move on with my life. I was seen as a young girl with no recourse because of my criminal record and treated as disposable. And as a Black woman, I was at an even greater disadvantage because the national unemployment rate for formerly incarcerated Black women is 43.1% nationwide. Yet I persevered. It was my only choice, and there was no one to care about what happened to me. My expungement process was not able to begin until spring 2019, many years after my crime. I tried to facilitate it on my own. There's nothing legally stopping you from doing so, yet the complexities, the months of time, and its $3,000 cost made the process almost insurmountable for many years. With my birth mother being incarcerated via the Texas Bureau of Prisons and forced to give me away to total strangers, the cycle of incarceration, which perpetuates itself so often through generations of Black women, threatened to continue. Her death, due to inadequate medical treatment, only furthered my anger at a system that stood so formidably against me. As for myself, I would not be an epidemiologist if my expungement had not been granted. And money, as well as other systemic factors, should not be the difference between someone's true freedom, especially when their debt to society has been considered paid. But as we all know, poverty can be the thief of dreams and the killer of chance. Or so I thought. As fate would have it today, I'm the founder and executive director of a nonprofit in my deceased father's name that specifically aids formerly incarcerated women and girls across the U.S. to continue their educational endeavors and find the same freedom and upward trajectory that I have. Through my foundation, the Thurman Perry Foundation, we've been involved in a recent statewide policy passage that ensures safe and non-discriminatory housing for formerly incarcerated people in Louisiana, which is 49% of our state's population. We're currently working with other community leaders, national lobbyists, and Louisiana representatives to ensure the passage of clean slate legislation, which will keep formerly incarcerated persons from incurring the exorbitant cost of the criminal record expungement process. And thanks to a newly cemented partnership with the Ladies of Hope Ministries, who share my passion of providing second chances, my nonprofit will be providing tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships to formerly incarcerated women and their daughters nationwide each year. And for myself, further, I have aspirations to attend medical school when the pandemic ends and add clinical credentials to my career as an epidemiologist. Because my second chance saved my life, I get to go save lives too. A 2018 academic research study highlighted American women's per capita incarceration rate being double that of men's for the last 2 decades. Yet the current mass incarceration epidemic is framed primarily as a male issue. That means that 80% of incarcerated women who are mothers are being overlooked. That means that the school to prison pipeline, which disproportionately affects Black and Latina little girls, is not being addressed. That means local, state, and federal funding that could go to establishing job training, education programs, quality housing referrals, mental health programs, family planning services, domestic violence aid, all things that impact or are needed by current or formerly incarcerated women and girls the most, are not being provided. As a nonprofit, the Ladies of Hope Ministries understands that you cannot operate from a place of lack and be expected to succeed. By being given direct funding throughout the cohort year, I was able to participate in the program to become my best self while also meeting my basic needs. By being provided professional tools from titans of industries, I was not only educated on how to better myself professionally, but was treated as an equal, which is so important for formerly incarcerated women reentering society. I was also given a safe space to unearth the trauma to my mental health with women who never once questioned or judged me, which immediately made me think, if convictions have an end date, shouldn't the punishment end too? The first time you tell your story of incarceration is a box you can never unopen. But the Speakers Bureau allowed me to wade into those waters freely and with abandon. As a formerly incarcerated woman, I had to get to this place all alone. As founder and executive director of my own nonprofit, the Thurman Perry Foundation, it's my mission to ensure other formerly incarcerated women don't have to. And as a member of the Faces of Women in Prison Speakers Bureau, I am so grateful to the Ladies of Hope Ministries for introducing me to a legion of women to share my voice with, share my fears with, and share my hope with. It's my hope that you will support both this organization and your community at large in creating a more just world for the formerly incarcerated. And for more information about how you can support scholarships for formerly incarcerated women and girls through my nonprofit, the Thurman Perry Foundation, and have your donations go directly to these women and girls, go to www.thurmanperryfoundation.org. Thank you so much for listening to my story. God bless.